the Dolphins get their GM. It is not Chad Alexander. How does this affect the Harbaugh situation? And my picks for the playoffs. What is up, Fins fans and NFL fans? Maybe, if you're interested in what I think about the playoffs. But that is not where we're going to start today. We have to start with the Dolphins have chosen their GM. It is not a bad choice. I like the choice. John Eric-Sullivan, I guess former now. I don't know, maybe he's not former yet, but soon to be new GM of the Miami Dolphins and soon to be former vice president player personnel for the Green Bay Packers. Now, the one thing I like about this hire, Green Bay is very good as far as building teams. They're very good at making deals. He has been a part of that. That being said, the Dolphins have their guy, and how does this affect the John Harbaugh thing? I don't know. Obviously, I think if the Dolphins get Chad Alexander, there is a better chance for John Harbaugh, but I do not think it closes the door on John Harbaugh. But there is a lot of possibilities out there for John Harbaugh. He will probably not start interviewing till at least next week, I believe he said. And there are other candidates, and I'm not going to get into them on this video because we're going to do our pick segment for this video. But I am going to do a video, and it's not going to be about John Harbaugh. It's going to be about some of the other coaches that would be interesting for the Dolphins to hire if they cannot get John Harbaugh. Now, I'm not giving up on the Harbaugh thing, but also we're the Dolphins. We like to get our hopes up and have our hopes absolutely crushed. But there are some other very good hires that are out there. So those are the ones I want to go over in another video. The one interesting one, real quick, just a kind of a spoiler for that video. I just want to be the first because I haven't heard this name mentioned. So I'm going to put it out there. If somebody else has, hey, leave a comment to your podcast or whatever and let me know, hey, I already said X person. The last time the Dolphins had any success was under a coach named Shula. Now, there is a very prosperous defensive coordinator that's in the playoffs right now, and his name is Chris Shula. He is the grandson of Don Shula, the son of David Shula. And I'm just going to pitch that out there because he has done extremely well as a defensive coordinator. And I'm just saying, maybe you got to go to, look to the past to better the future. Just to have another Shula at head coach. Now, is he actually one of the guys that is going to be on my list? Well, there you'll have to wait and see. But I just thought it was an interesting concept because he is the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. They are in the playoffs. Their defense has kind of been up and down this season, but he was also the defensive coordinator when the Rams went to the Super Bowl and won. So it's an interesting watch just to have that name associated back with the Miami Dolphins, a Shula. Now, needless to say, David didn't work out, although he was the offensive coordinator and he was around some of those 80s when the Dolphins were contending, those 80s games. He was, I think he was the run coordinator during that time. But we will get into all that. I just thought it was an interesting name to throw out there, and I wanted to do it before I heard it from anybody else because I thought, hey, I seen his name on a list, and he's actually quite high on the list of coaches, and not as high as a lot, but I mean he is mentioned. And when I saw it, I was like, wow, Shula. And I punch on it and find out, yes, it's Don Shula's grandson. So it's just an interesting concept. Do I think he needs to be the coach for the Dolphins? We'll get into that in another video. This one, just wanted to congratulate John Eric Sullivan. I do like the hire. And now we will get into the picks. Which will start Saturday's games, which is the Rams at Carolina and Green Bay at Chicago. Now, the one that I'm not going to spend a lot of time on is the Rams and Carolina. Now, can Carolina win this game? Absolutely. They can win this game. They do have a solid defense, but the Rams, they look good. And I get it. They fell off. They're third place, I think, in their division. No, actually, they're second place in their division. San Francisco, I think, fell under them when they lost to Seattle in the final game of the season. Anyway, point being, their offense is still amazing. Matthew Stafford is my vote for MVP this season. You've got Puka, all those receivers out there. They just look good. Their defense is solid. It's not great, but it is solid. And aforementioned Chris Shula, defensive coordinator for that club. So I may start kind of watching the Rams. I was actually for the Rams once the Dolphins were out of the mix anyway. I like Matthew Stafford. I like the Rams. So, yeah, I'm taking the Rams all day on this one against Carolina. Green Bay at Chicago. It's interesting. I think a lot of people are saying Green Bay, Green Bay, Green Bay. I like Chicago's defense. I really like Chicago's defense. Now, do I think Caleb Williams is going to go out and, like, blow up Green Bay? No, I don't. But Jordan Love has been injured. He has not played a few games. I think he came back maybe week before last or the week before that. I can't remember if I know he didn't play the last week of the season, and I can't remember if he played the week before that. But I know he's been injured and he's missed a few games. Of course, Micah Parsons is out. So, to me, I think Chicago takes this game. Now, on Sunday, there's where, to me, you have your big games. You have Buffalo at Jacksonville, San Francisco at Philadelphia, and Los Angeles Chargers at New England. Yep, I still wrote it down, San Diego, SD. I can't let it go. They're still San Diego to me. I can't let it go. The Los Angeles Chargers taking on the New England Patriots. Now, the first game Sunday is Buffalo at Jacksonville. Now, going into this game, I really thought Buffalo, and I'm kind of rooting for Buffalo a little bit. I do like Josh Allen. I know I'm a Dolphins fan. It's absolute sacrilege. But I really like Josh Allen. His play alone is warranted to go to the Super Bowl. At least go. So I'm kind of pulling for Buffalo. But the more I've looked at Jacksonville, their defense is playing really well. And Trevor Lawrence is playing very well. and they can run the ball, even though now Buffalo has the #1 pass defense in the league. Now, I don't know if a lot of people know that. I've heard a lot of people fussing about Buffalo's defense, but they have the #1 pass defense in the league. And I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to beat them. Their run defense, however, not so good. And Travis Etienne Jr. has played well, especially early on in the season. I even done like a little thing where I had to look him up because he was among the top 5 or 6 running backs at the time. So I had to look him up and check him out. He's finished with 1,100 yards, I think, and 7 touchdowns, something like that. So they do have a bit of a running game. We know Buffalo doesn't like the running game. And the other thing that Buffalo does not like is heat. Now, I don't know what the temperature is going to be in Jacksonville, Florida. I guarantee you it's going to be a lot warmer and a lot more humid than it is in Buffalo. And that is my one thing. I'm sorry. And it goes both ways. Buffalo can say the same thing about the Dolphins. Oh, you bunch of whiny babies. You come into the cold and just whine and cry because you got to play in the cold. Well, back at you, brother. Buffalo whines and cries, even complained to the league about playing in Miami early in the season. So, you know, one finger at you, 4 back at me kind of thing. But they don't like heat. And they're heading to Jacksonville. Again, their pass defense is good, but I don't think Trevor Lawrence is the one that is going to beat them. And I think their defense is pretty good, Jacksonville. And I'm kind of for Buffalo in this game. Again, I know sacrilege, but I think Jacksonville may take this. I'm going to pick the Jacksonville Jaguars. Also, we got San Francisco at Philadelphia. San Francisco they looked really bad against Seattle, and I'm not trying to take away anything from Seattle. They have a good defense. Philly's kind of fell off, especially against the run, which what does San Francisco do well? Run the ball. But with it being in Philly, and I still think the Eagles have enough in the tank defensively, I think they'll take this game. I was thinking San Francisco early, but the more I looked at it, the more I think going into Philly, team traveling from the West to Philadelphia, I think the Eagles' defense is going to be a little too much for them. Then you have the Los Angeles Chargers. Los Angeles Chargers. I don't know why it bothers me so much. But you have the Chargers at the Patriots. And this one, I think New England got lucky. I really think New England got lucky because I think if Buffalo goes to New England, Buffalo wins that game. And I honestly think if Houston goes to New England, Houston wins that game. But unfortunately, for us Dolphins fans, it is the Chargers that are going to New England. And it's kind of the same as San Francisco going to Philadelphia. Warm weather team coming from the West Coast to the East Coast. It's going to be cold. New England is going to run the ball. Proved that against us, that's for sure. I mean, they had more rushing yards than we had total yards. Why did I bring that up again? But I think it's New England. I think New England takes this one. And then you have the Monday night game, which I'm protesting because I don't think the playoffs should be on cable TV. I think everybody should be able to watch the playoffs. I'm just saying. I know everybody thinks that everybody has internet now. Not everybody or cable or whatever. Not everybody, because this boy don't. So I will not be able to watch the Houston Texans beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that is what I think is going to happen. Houston's defense is just tremendous. Don't get me wrong. I think this is going to be a close game, a lot closer than people are expecting, just because it is in Pittsburgh, and that is a different animal in itself. Aaron Rodgers does have something to prove, that this is not a fluke for them being there because of a wide right by the Baltimore Ravens. But I just think Houston's defense has played too well. I just cannot see, and I think C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, those guys, they're going to make enough plays. Whether it's early, late, or they just get on a run, or it's maybe a touchdown, a couple of touchdowns early, maybe a touchdown late. I think Pittsburgh may take the middle of this game, like the second and third quarter, but I think Houston will hold on in this game, and the Houston Texans will put out the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that is my predictions. Rams over Panthers, Bears over Packers, Jags over Bills, Eagles over 49ers, Patriots over Chargers, and the Texans over the Steelers. So later on, I will be trying to put my coaching video together. John Harbaugh will not be in it. Will he be mentioned? Probably. It's John Harbaugh. But we're going to talk about some other candidates that if the Dolphins cannot get John Harbaugh, these are, I don't know if I'll do like a top 5 or how I'm going to do it. Again, spoiler alert, Chris Shula could be there because that's just an interesting hire to me. Maybe it's a little nostalgia, and it's not just nostalgia. He has done a really good job as defensive coordinator for the Rams in general. Now, they have been down a little bit this year, but they're still contending. They're still there. So we'll see who the other candidates for head coach could be if the Dolphins cannot get John Harbaugh. And again, the Sullivan hire at GM, I don't think it destroys the John Harbaugh hire, but it doesn't make it look good as if Chad Alexander was stepping in as the general manager for the Miami Dolphins. So, guys, enjoy the games this weekend, make good decisions, and fins up for the future.